In less than 2 weeks, we're going to get our next clues on how voters are feeling ahead of the midterms. It will come from a special election in a solidly Republican congressional district in the middle of Tennessee, one where Democrats are hoping they can pull off an upset. Former Vice President Kamala Harris even made a surprise appearance for the Democrat there this week. The first time she's joined a candidate on the campaign trail since leaving office. NBC's Steve Kornacki has more on the race at the big board.
All right, December 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now, we get our next election, our next readout on the atmosphere as 2026 starts to come into focus. So it's a special election in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee, sort of middle Tennessee. What are we talking about here? Well, there's downtown Nashville. There's the suburbs in Williamson County, which is right outside Nashville. And then it kind of sprawls and crawls to the west and to the south to some rural areas. So sort of a mix in this district, a very Republican district. You wouldn't normally talk about this district being at all potentially competitive, except here's what's been happening in recent elections. You know, in New Jersey here, Democratic landslide in the governor's race. But the key was this. Look, Trump had lost this state by 6 points to Kamala Harris last year. New Jersey went up to a 14-point margin in the governor's race there. So the Democrats didn't just win. I think they overperformed relative to last year. Same thing happened in Virginia. Again, it's a blue state to start with. Harris had won this by just under 6 points last year. But again, look at this, up to 15 points here. So two Democratic landslides. It wasn't just Democrats won these states. It's that they won them in landslides. And this comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House so far this year. And in all 4 of them, the Democrats have overperformed relative to 2024. In Florida, 1st District, Republicans won it by 15, but that was down from 37 points last year. In Florida 6, Republicans won by 14, down from a 30-point win. Democrats carried two districts here, but they increased their margin relative to 2024. So again, you look at this district, Tennessee 7. Look, Trump won it by 22 points last year. He won it by 15 points in 2020. But if you get this kind of movement, if you get some of that movement you saw in Virginia, some of that movement in New Jersey, this could get into the single digits. This could get potentially interesting. And one thing we've been seeing, these special elections, lower turnout, Democrats have been more motivated, their voters have, than Republicans. So keep an eye on this one. The Republicans think the Democratic candidate, she's sort of from the progressive side of the party. Her own party called her the AOC of Tennessee. They think they can get some mileage out of those they want to be using nationally in 2026. If the Republicans end up winning this big, not having this kind of drop-off, it would show those attacks maybe are going to work next year. If the Democrats can get this down to single digits, it would be more momentum for them heading into the midterm.
All right, we'll be watching closely. Steve Kornacki, thank you so much for that.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.